Good evening, everyone. It is Liam, the Deaf to Metalhead, and today is a vinyl collection update that I haven't done in what seems like forever because CD has been king for me, and you know, it's just nice to be able to show some different formats for a change. So I won't mess about and give you the whole sob stories of why, because no one gives a shit, and neither do I. But I will show you some really heavy records. Some of these are brand new releases for this year, some of them are old school classics, and one is a holy grail for me, which you probably saw in the video thingy that probably made you click on this video even, I don't know. But anyway, first off is a Finnish death metal band that I absolutely adore. There's a few Finnish death metal bands that I hold in very high regard, and this is one of them. And that is the latest from the band Corpsessed with the album Succumb to Rot. This was put out through Misako and Oho Records here in the UK and Dark Descent Records in the US. I mean, look at that cover. Doesn't that not tell you to buy me already? I mean, their last album had a really weird, fucked up cover with like kind of a Spider-Man kind of creature. I don't know really what it was supposed to be, but it looked like a vessel from some kind of weird fantasy novel. And this is no different. Really, really cool artwork. And this is just straight up, no nonsense, Finnish death metal. The Finns kind of have a really guttural approach to death metal where it's ultra heavy, very chasmic feeling. And Corpsessed are one of the best at it. Like, this is such a strong album, one of my favourites this year. I've listened to this a lot. Very, very solid riffing. Production's mint, you know, nothing to complain about. Vocals are always superb. There's a picture of the boys there on the inner sleeve. I mean, to look at, you know, there's a load of metalhead blokes with long hair, a few short haired blokes. This chap here, the vocalist, has got a fucking nasty voice. It's pure aggression. Very, very guttural. It's just such a good vocal range. And you've got lyrics on the other side there. I believe this is just black wax. I can't actually remember. Yeah. So I won't bother showing you that because who cares. But yeah, a really, really strong album. Love this one. I mean, the last one from I think 2018, something like that, was really good. But these guys, when did they form? In 2007, and this is their third full length for 2022. So you can't go wrong with a bit of Corpsessed, so yeah, go check them out. Really, really strong. Next is some Texas death metal. Now, as with Finnish death metal, you kind of know what you're getting, and the same with Texas death metal. When you read that the band's from Texas, you expect it to have a certain style. Well, I do anyway. Like, you can have a very groove-driven, very detuned, guttural sound, especially death metal in Texas, where it's got that kind of, it's all about the groove. And the riff kind of makes you do that kind of stank face when you listen to the riff. And the new Fleshrot is no exception. This is there's two different covers for this. Apparently in the US there's really naff kind of blue one, but over here for the Misako and Oho release, this is a Brad Moore picture. There's his signature down there. I mean, that was kind of the main selling point for me. I was on the fence about getting this when it was first announced, but then I thought, if I stay on the fence, I'm never going to be able to get it because the demo for these boys just sold out instantly, just vanished. And you'd be very lucky. I mean, it's been repressed a few times, but I've missed out every single time. When you go on Discogs and look at some of the prices, it's insane. So I thought, I'll just fucking buy it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. But I happily love this album. It's fantastic. No nonsense Texas death metal. It's groovy, it's thick, it's heavy. It's not that long, so you don't get sick of it. You can kind of put it on a few times and you're happy. You know, you're not waiting around for certain riffs. You're not having these long drawn out bits. There's no like kind of intros and sound bites. None of that bollocks. It's just straight no nonsense death metal riffing. Thick, nasty. It's got a groove to it. You know, it's spot on. Inlay is a nice thick card with a picture of the boys there, looking all evil and angry. And you got lyrics over there. It looks like, you know, someone drew that in high school almost. It's quite funny. Because I jumped on the bandwagon without thinking about it, I got one of the nice pretty variants. I managed to get the slime kind of splatter. Does it fit with the music? No, not really. A little bit. It does go with the cover though, which is quite nice. But yeah, Misako and Ho Records, another release by them this year, another solid release by them this year. They are on form for releases. I mean, there's at least another 3 or 4 from those guys that I want that's come out this year by memory. But yeah, this is just, if you like bands like Frozen Souls, the obvious one for new ones, they're kind of a similar vibe to this, but it's also got like a I don't know how to describe it. Like, Bolt Thrower is always the root band for this kind of style of death metal, to me anyway. It's got that kind of groove. It's thick. It's chunky. These guys don't sound like Bolt Thrower though. They just have that kind of blueprint of how you want the riffs to sound. But then in my head, that's how Texas death metal sounds nowadays. You could pick a few bands and they all have a similar vibe to them. So yeah, give it a go if you don't know who these boys are, because this is really fun. Sticking with the Brad Moore album covers, this is another new one for 2022 through Misaka Ho Records. And I'll try and pronounce it. This is Sedimentium with their new album, Separation Morphoge. I cannot pronounce that, it's down below. But yeah, I gave it a go, let's give me some credit. But look at that cover there. Brad Moore is on form at the moment. He's done the Worm covers, Tomb Mold covers, you know, there's loads he's done. Look at that. And that was one of the main selling points again for me picking this album up, because I saw it, ummed and ahed about it, and I thought, fuck it, you know, the cover sells it for me. These guys are from Quebec in Canada, formed in 2018, and this is their debut full length for this year. Thick, very thick, grindy, horrible death metal, very bass tone heavy as well. It's got that clank to it that I really like. Very muffled, chasmic kind of vocals. It's just nasty, just straight up nasty. There's a picture of the insert there, lyrics there. I don't think this one came with an insert by memory. I haven't opened these up for a little while. I've listened to them, but I haven't explored them. And I think I did get a special variant for this one as well. Yes, I did. And that one was the kind of green with a purple kind of splatter that went with the cover of the album, which I quite liked. I thought that was a really nice touch as well. But yeah, this is again just your, it's not over technical, it's just very riffy, angry, chasmic sounding death metal with a nice thick sludgy tone, with, like I said, a clangy bass tone in it, which I love. But you know, full gatefold with Brad Moore's artwork, which looks fantastic. So yeah, if you haven't checked this one out, I know a few people have spoke about this and they've been on the fence about it, but I think it's decent. I really like it. You know, the cover is amazing as well, so that makes it even better. So yeah, go check it out. New Sedimentium. Now, this one, this is the top dog. Like, I tried to find a metaphor how to describe this album, and the only way I can think about it is if you went into, I don't know if it'll work, but if you were in a changing room in, say, a gym or locker room or anything like that, and you got that one dude that walks in just a towel and kind of just flaps it on the table, and you all kind of sit there in amazement at how, you know, wow, that's impressive. You know, I kind of wish mine was like that. And it's like that big dick mentality. And this album, to me, is that big dick mentality. And that is a new Mortuous album, which is called Upon Desolation. This is fucking amazing. I can't tell you how much I love this album. I mean, I loved the previous one, and I have that back there. You know, this is Death Doom. I think they're from California. Yeah, they are. Yeah, California, formed in 2009. This is their second full length. But this is such a step up from their previous album. It's just a monster. So fucking good. Now, this was the Extremely Rotten Productions version. I think there was a Dark Descent or another label that was involved. But I got that version because I was the only one I could find. Gatefold there with the lyrics. Pictures of the lads. They are in other bands, but I cannot tell you what they were because I didn't actually write that down. I was so excited about telling you about how this had such a big dick mentality, I didn't even write it down. But it's such a strong album. I mean, there's no insert, isn't there? It came with a poster which I've already put on the wall because I love it so much. But this, musically, is straight up no nonsense Death Doom. It's thick, it's heavy, it has a kind of Dead Congregation vibe. But it also, it's the moments in it when it comes in with like some violins for the Doom section, and I'm a massive My Dying Bride fan, and it just went bang, and you don't even know it's coming, it just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh yeah, get the old goosebumps on your arm, and then they hit you with the kind of doomy melodic leads that kind of has a Candlemassy vibe to it, and again, My Dying Bride, Turn the Loose the Swans kind of vibe. you know, but you don't know it's coming because you get so much pummeling death metal, and then when they slow it right down to those doom sections, like, oh, this is what I want, you know, this is the perfect album. And I've listened to this so much. I mean, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Didn't even listen to it before I bought it. I already liked the previous one, so I already knew I was going to like it. But I wasn't expecting that, you know, like, especially with the doomy violins, and I was just like, oh, fanboy moment instantly, you know, straight to the top of the pile. You know, it's such a good album, and I'm fanboying over it already. And I imagine a few other people have as well, because it is such a stomper. It really is. So if you haven't checked this out, oh, amazing album, love it. Don't be surprised if you see that at the end of the year, if I do one of those kind of top 10, 25 things, because it's fucking awesome. As is this next album. I mean, these are all great albums, I wouldn't have bought them otherwise, but this is another one that was a no-brainer for me. Like, I knew about the EP, I have that on cassette, I think, and, you know, I'm a big fan of the guy behind this band, and I can't even pronounce the band name, I'm not that intelligent, but I will put it below. It's this band. I can't even pronounce the name of the album, but it's a Aztecian themed doom death, we're going to call it, and it's amazing. Like, so I know the guy who's Big O behind this, Brian, but I don't know what he goes by now. He has a different name for this project, but this is in the vein of, say if you had a Crowbar but you dialed it up a lot more and gave it a lot more bollocks, you get this band. So it's sludgy, so thick and heavy. Like, Brian's guitar tone is massive. It's like if you gave Kurt Weinstein a load of drugs and he just became a fanatically heavy, monstrous, you know, person. It's a stupid analogy, but he just reminds me of that so much in his guitar playing. And this is a monster of an album. Insert his picture of him here. And there he is there, wearing all the get-up. But I believe this is a two-piece band. So you got G-Bone and Huey. I can't even pronounce it, but it's got the O bit at the end, so I know it's him. But yeah. So this was formed in 2019 out of California. This is their debut full-length. I think the EP came out in 2019, and Brian is also known for being in the band Jabolba, if you like that one, the kind of crossover, hardcore-y, kind of thrashy band. They're really good. I think this is just... oh, there is a colour variant. So I managed to snag that variant. I don't know what you call it. Blood Sun or something like that. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. But this is just thick, heavy. There's some nasty riffs on this, like really thick, stompy, doomy riffs. Really, really heavy. Then it gets fast, and it's just such a strong album. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what the name of the song is because they're all in a, I'm guessing, a language I clearly can't read. I mean, the font I struggle with a little bit. I can read the lyrics though, so that's a start. But yeah, I'll leave a link below and you can check it out. But $20 spin, never disappoint for me. There's a few hit and miss albums, but these guys, this was a no-brainer. Massive step up from the EP. So yeah, go check it out. It's a monster. Absolutely heavy. Now, this one was recommended to me absolutely ages ago by my good friend Anthony over the Metal Miners channel. I'm going to put a link above my head and go and check him out because he's one of my favourite video creators because he's always showing the good stuff and he's always teaching me, he's always supporting me and, you know, pushing me to make this channel better, but I'm lazy and old and angry. But anyway, he recommended this album. I mean, it must have been the start of my YouTube journey, and it sold out, and I missed the opportunity to buy it. Well, you know, when I said about sitting on the fence, I did that, but luckily it got repressed, I think, late last year or early this year, I can't even remember anymore. And that is the Finnish band Proscription with their album Conduit. Now, this came out through Dark Descent Records back in 2020. And is their debut full length. They formed in 2017 and it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, I say amazing for a lot of albums, but this one I do mean it as well because It's thick, heavy, atmospheric death metal. It's got kind of a sinister kind of underlying to it. It's not just straight pummeling death metal. It has kind of a almost like a, you know, black metal where it kind of creates that kind of horrible atmosphere. These guys do that as well. It's not just all about pummeling you with riffs. There was a lot of atmosphere that goes into it. It came with, if I can get it out, a little booklet. Instead of like an inlay, you get this like tiny little book here with some really cool artwork on it, if you get it the right way up, with the lyrics inside, which I quite like because I like to read the lyrics, especially in a font I can read as well, because that helps. But yeah, again, I mean, I've been wanting this album for such a long time. I've had this a good number of months now, and it's just straight up one of my favourites to put on if I'm in a spot where I can't decide what to listen to. Vinyl variant looks like that, but this is, like, say, the repress one. I don't know what the original ones look like. But I think I got this through Misako and Oho as well. I think they were part of the repress for this album. But don't quote me on it. I mean, I know they have a link between them and Dark Descent for nearly all their releases, so I'm assuming that's where this came from. But if you've not checked this out, seriously do yourself a favour and go and click a link below and have a look, because it's just nasty. It's really, really clever, really, really heavy, and it's one that I never ever get bored of. I mean, I've listened to this since it came out, stream it most of the time, because putting it on the record when you're out and about, it is impossible. So I do rely on Spotify to listen to this more than I do at home. But it's just amazing to have, and I love having it in my hands. So yeah, Proscription, amazing. Now we move on to the holy grail of this video, and an album I didn't generally think I would have unless I either won the lottery or my wife passed away and I got all the life insurance and I didn't have the guilt of spending a small fortune on records. Obviously that's never going to happen, fingers crossed, but you know, I managed to get this for an amazing price, and I'm not saying it cost me a lot of money either. It cost me enough where it was, you know, doable for me in my situation anyway. I mean, some people can spunk up money away on box sets and all stuff like that, and I love to do that, but I just can't. But this was one of those grails I thought if I ever going to get it, it has to be in a certain price point, and it was. And that is Disma, Towards the Megalith. Oh, you know, this album is iconic for me. It's one of those albums that's avoided me for years and years. When I first heard it, it was already out of press, and then when it was being repressed, I wasn't collecting back then because I didn't live in this house, so I didn't have the man cave of doom and the space to do anything like this. But this year, I think I got it. Yeah, this year. Obviously, it's this year. I was just scouting on eBay and I saw this, and I saw the price for a bid, and I put in my top mark ballpark figure, which wasn't a lot, and I didn't expect to win it. And then I won it. And then I got a message from the guy on Instagram saying, I think you just bought the album I just put on eBay. And I did. And, you know, I was chatting to him about it. It was really funny. But, yeah, I mean, this album is amazing. It's a Death Doom band, American band, formed in New Jersey in 2005. Has former members of Incantation, Evoken. They are reformed. They've just put an EP out this year, which I also have. It's just amazing. But this is... I don't think they could ever top this. This is such a strong album. You know, every time I listen to it, I'm always impressed. You know, sometimes I forget how good this album is. I mean, the cover is amazing. It is such a good album, and it's just heavy as fuck. It's just no nonsense Incantation style, because obviously it's former members of Incantation. Death metal with a doomy touch to it. Has an inlay. Now this is a repress through Century and Media. Oh no, Profound Law Records, sorry. Repressed this one. It was originally, I think, put out through Dementia Records years ago. When it came out. When did it even come out? 2011. So the insert is just that, with the lyrics. And then you've got who's in the band, thank yous, where's it recorded, that kind of thing. But, you know, I was convinced I'd probably get maybe a pitch disc version because they don't sell for as much. But I actually managed to get this variant, which I'm really chuffed about, which is that kind of green splatter. So, well happy. I mean, I couldn't tell you how happy I was, and you know, when I do these collection updates, I don't normally tell my wife, because one, she doesn't give a shit, and two, she found out I'm buying records, she would break my legs, because that's how it is for most husbands at my age range, I guess. Older people probably don't give a fuck, but you know, I'm well over the moon to have this, and this is one of my pride and joys of my collection. I have about 3 or 4 that are Grails to me, and this is one of them. Like, I would never sell this, I'd never trade it. You know, this will go to my grave, unless my kids want it, which I doubt they will. So we'll find out in the future. But yeah, if you've not checked it out, go check the link below. But this, out of my collection, this is one of the top 3 records I own. It's just, I love it that much. So yeah, Disma, fucking awesome. Now these next 3 are old school albums that I've kind of gathered, that I've wanted for numbers of years, and you know, one of them I didn't even know about until recently, but this one I did know about, and I'm a big fan of this band, and that is Tiamat with Sumerian Cry. Polish, I don't know what they are really, they're just a metal band that kind of dive in doom, thrash, death metal, gothic doom, electronica, you know, they do all sorts of over the years. But this is their debut full length from 1990. They formed in 89. They are a Swedish band, or were a Swedish band. I don't think they're still together anymore. They do the odd festival appearance doing like Clouds or something like that. But this is where they started out really. Got the Hell Slaughter on the back there, who does the rhythm, lead guitar and vocals. And then you've got Yuck, whoever that is, on bass. And this band were a death metal band originally. This album is a straight up Swedish death metal album. It's very, very good, very heavy, very riffy. And then obviously as they progress, they went a bit more doomy. And their album for me is Clouds. I love that album. But this is a Back on Black reissue. You've got a collage there of the old days. You know, and bands obviously that formed in the early 90s, a lot of them have changed their style over the years, the ones that have stayed. And these guys changed their style a lot. Every album is slightly different. Like Wild Honey is totally different to Clouds to me. And you know, this one as well, they're all totally different. So if you own the discography, it's quite nice because every album is slightly different. You're not getting the same album. I got the white variant. Got a few white records, but you know, another one to the collection. And yeah, I mean, most people have probably heard this album or know this band. If you get the original version of it, it's obviously worth a lot more than my version, because this is a repress from... Did I even write it down? I didn't, but I think this one came out 5 or 6 years ago, this press. Get in there. The only one to find it with Back on Black ones, they never go in properly in the sleeves. But yeah, anyway, Tiamat, love them. So this one, next one, I've never heard of this band before. UK band. My mate Kenny, good old Kenny, said you can have this if you want because it has a slight mark on it, and I think it was Amazon or someone like that just sent him a new copy but didn't ask for the original one back, and it affects maybe the first 10 seconds of the album and then the rest of it is absolutely fine. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. I ain't as fussy as him. But the band is Bal-Sagoth. Sagoth, sorry. With the album The Power Cosmic. This is another Back on Black reissue for, I think, for this year. This band are from Sheffield, formed in '93. This is their 4th full-length album. And this came out in 1999. Now, Byron Roberts is the only original member, I think. This band, there's a lot of mystery behind it if you read up on them now. They have split up, they reformed, and I think Byron is the only guy left in the band. I think the rest of them left and formed a band called Cull, which put an album out in 2019, which was going to be the 7th Bal-Sagoth album, apparently. What they are, I don't know. Never heard them. But to describe this musically, it is black metal a bit. But I would call it more of a David Attenborough blackened cosmic metal band. Especially with this album, it's really weird because it really gave me I can't remember the name of the author who died of, I think he had Alzheimer's or something like that, but he wrote that Discworld novels, I forget his name, Terry Pratchett. It has that vibe to it a lot, and I think that's what it's inspired by, I'm guessing. I'm probably dead wrong, but I get that vibe a lot, and it has the vocal style where it's kind of got like a blackened style, and then it goes into like a David Attenborough narration style, and it's all a bit weird and very symphonic, and you can never predict where it's going. But I actually really enjoyed it because it isn't like anything else in my collection. It's totally different, and I know Ben Brain Smashers raved about one of their albums which was green. I can't remember, it's called Power something by memory, but they haven't reissued that one yet, I don't think. But this one, it's got a kind of a cosmic vibe to it. Obviously the cover, it gives it away, and I love the cover. I think this was a splatter vinyl as well. Yes, so you got that kind of blue splatter there with a clear vinyl. And yeah, it's just a weird band, like really, really weird. Like, if you were with a group of nerds and they go, oh, we like this kind of band, and I just can't relate to them. But the more I listened to this, the more I got into it. It's weird. It's a very strange band. And yeah, let me know what you think below, because I know a lot of people love this band, so it'll be interesting to see why. But yeah, Bal-Sagoth. And lastly, a album that I've known about this band since I started listening to kind of doomy stuff in my LimeWire days, and I discovered this band through that. And that is the band Crowbar. This is their second full-length album, self-titled, from 1993, and they formed in 1990. Now this was reissued a couple of years ago, and I managed to get this for like nothing on eBay. It's very bizarre, no one was bidding on it. I put a silly bid in thinking, you know, it'll disappear and I won't care. And I won, to my surprise, and then yeah, this turned up. So I'm well happy, because this is an amazing album. Now Crowbar are touring at the moment, I think, with I forget who now, but they are touring the UK as we speak. And they are a very good band. I've seen them live a couple of times. Kirk, even though his vocals are, I mean, they're painful to hear. I mean, his voice sounds so fucked up, the way he can barely string a sentence together. It sounds like he's in pain when he's talking. And yeah, but the riffs, oh, the riffs are magnificent. Like, there's so many good songs on here, like Existence is Punishment, High Rate of Extinction, All I Had I Gave. I mean, the whole album is fantastic. You know, I think there's a Led Zeppelin cover in there somewhere as well. I think No Quarter, I think that's a cover. I can't remember. But yeah, an amazing band. I love Crowbar. I mean, they've been around for ages, and they never disappoint. When you see them live, you know what you're going to get. Just thick, sludgy, kind of doomy metal. If you're a fan of bands like Trouble and, I don't know, I Hate God. I mean, they're all from that kind of, where are they from? I can never remember now. Near the Mississippi, I forget what state they're in, but you know, bands like Down and I Hate God all share similar members throughout bands. And I know Crowbar, I think Kirk is the only original member in the band now. I think the drummer's been in there the longest, but he only joined in like 2005, something like that. But they're still going strong. They've got a ton of albums out as well. So yeah, if you haven't checked Crowbar out, obviously I'll leave a link below, but I imagine most people have heard of these boys, because they are very well respected. So yeah, that is the end of this collection update. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously let me know below what you think of these albums, especially the new ones, as they are ones that I absolutely adore, especially that Mortuous. That is chef's kiss perfection to me. So yeah, if you like the video, obviously give it a like to let YouTube know I'm alright. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and checking out all the content popping around you now. And I'll look forward to speaking to you guys in the comments section below. So take care and cheers.